The trap of silence. Why? Don't judge isn't what you think. Let's hit something uncomfortable right away. Why is it so easy to spot someone else's flaws, but so hard to admit your own? You've done it, we all have. You see someone mess up, and instantly your brain fires. Wow, that's wrong. And without even thinking, you place yourself on higher ground. But here's the twist. How many times have you stayed silent even when something clearly felt wrong because you were afraid of sounding judgy? This is where most people get stuck. We think, don't judge means keep your mouth shut. Look the other way. Ignore what's really happening. But that's not what Jesus taught. Yes, he warned us not to judge, but he also commanded us to be wise, to discern, to protect truth with a clean heart. So here's the real power move. What if true strength is learning to discern without condemning? That's what we're diving into today. And trust me, once you understand this, it changes everything. Judging versus discerning, the crucial difference. Before we go any deeper, let's clear the air, because this single distinction, it can make or break your relationships, your peace, and your own spiritual health. Judging and discerning are not the same thing. But most people blur that line every single day without even noticing. Here's what judging really is. It's when you see someone's action, and you immediately slap a label on their character. It's not just, they made a mistake. It's, that's who they are. It sounds like she's toxic. He's a liar. They're beyond help. And here's the twist. Sometimes we do this silently, without ever saying a word out loud, but internally, we've already written them off. We've closed the book on their potential to grow or change. And let's be honest, there's a secret satisfaction in judging. It makes us feel safe, powerful, right? But the cost, it's high. Judgment hardens your heart. It builds walls between you and others. It pushes people away. And worst of all, it blinds you to your own need for grace. Now, discernment. This is where the real power is. Discernment sees the same mistake, but it keeps the person's worth intact. It says, that action was wrong, but that doesn't define who they are forever. It allows you to set boundaries without bitterness. Call out truth without cruelty. Stay clear-eyed, but compassionate. Let's paint a picture. Say a friend betrays your trust. Judging says, they're a backstabber. They always have been. I'm done with them. Discerning says, what they did was hurtful. I need to be wise moving forward. But I'm leaving room for growth and healing if they're willing. That's the key. Judgment shuts the door, locks it, and throws away the key. Discernment leaves the door open but with healthy boundaries in place. And here's a subtle detail. Judgment is reactive. It jumps to conclusions fast. Discernment is patient. It pauses, watches, and waits before deciding how to respond. The root judgment is pride. It's about feeling superior. Discernment is humility. It's about seeking truth and protecting peace. Discernment protects the truth and keeps your soul clear. Judgment, it poisons relationships and corrodes your own heart. And if you don't draw this line clearly, you'll fall into the same trap over and over, hurting others and blocking your own growth. Check your motive. Is it correction or control? So, now that we've nailed down the difference between judging and discerning, let's get brutally honest. Because even when you think you're discerning, there's a deeper test. What's your real motive? And here's the truth. No one likes to admit. Sometimes, what feels like discernment is just judgment in disguise. It's ego dressed up as helpfulness. It whispers, I'm just being honest. I'm saying this because I care. But underneath, it's a craving to control, to win, to subtly remind someone who's wiser here. That's the dark side of correction. It's not about restoring. It's about dominating. Taking the upper hand, feeling superior, but real discernment. It's rooted in something much deeper: love, a true desire to help someone rise without pushing them down first. Here's the question that slices through the noise. Am I doing this out of love or out of pride? It's simple, but it's brutal. Because love and pride can look so similar on the outside, but their fruit, completely different. Let's make it plain. Your friend keeps messing up. You've had enough. You want to correct them. Now pause. Pride says, see, you always do this? Maybe you'll finally learn your lesson. It's laced with irritation and a silent, I'm better than you. Love says, hey, I know this is tough, but I'm seeing a pattern that's hurting you. and I care too much to stay quiet. Same situation, two completely different spirits. Here's what we miss. Pride rushes in because it needs to be heard. Love waits because it cares more about timing than ego. Pride wants a reaction. Love wants restoration. Even your posture tells the story. Are you crossing your arms, looking down on them, or leaning in, eyes soft, tone humble? And this matters more than you think. Because discernment without love, it becomes cold, sharp, and in the end, it tears down more than it builds. Real discernment, it's never about winning the argument. It's about winning their heart back. So next time that urge to correct rises up, stop and ask yourself, am I stepping in because I love them, or because I need to feel in control? One of those leads to healing. The other, it only feeds your pride and leaves both of you emptier than before. Speak with grace. Correct without condemning. Here's where so many of us slip. We see the problem. We're right about the issue. But the way we deliver it, it crushes. Instead of correct. And let's be real. Sometimes we hide behind the excuse. I'm just being honest. But truth alone, delivered without care, can hit like a hammer, breaking more than it builds. Look at Jesus. He never sugar-coated sin. He spoke boldly, clearly, and directly. But his tone always soaked in mercy. His words didn't just expose the wound, they opened the door to healing. Think of the woman caught in adultery. He didn't pretend it wasn't wrong. He said, "Go and sin no more." But before that, he defended her dignity, pushed back the stones in people's hands, and showed her grace before correction. That's the model. Truth plus compassion equals transformation. And here's where we often fail. We either lean too hard on truth, delivering it cold and sharp, with no room for grace, or we overcompensate with compassion, staying silent on issues that desperately need light. But real change only happens when both work together. Ask yourself, am I leaving the door open for grace? Is my tone inviting or accusing? Are my words lifting or just punishing? Am I speaking to heal or just to unload my frustration? Even small things matter. Your body language, your timing, the way you pause to let the other person breathe and process. Because, here's the truth, people rarely remember every word you say, but they never forget how your words made them feel. If your words come from a place of pride, they'll create distance. But if they flow from a heart of love, they can unlock real transformation. So next time you need to speak truth, pause and ask, am I creating a pathway for healing? Or am I just swinging the sword of truth to feel righteous? Remember, truth cuts deep, but grace makes room for the wound to heal. Discernment as your spiritual armor. Stay protected. Here's something most people completely overlook. Discernment isn't just about seeing others clearly, it's your spiritual armor. It's what keeps you grounded, protected, and at peace. We're living in a world where appearances are deceiving. People put on masks. Situations look good on the surface, but underneath, there's manipulation, hidden motives, and subtle traps. If you're not discerning, you can walk straight into chaos thinking it's a blessing. That's why discernment is non-negotiable. It's your spiritual radar, alerting you to what your natural eyes can't see. And here's the key. Discernment doesn't make you hard or bitter. It sharpens your eyes, but keeps your heart soft, wise, but not cynical, alert, but still compassionate. I love how Jesus puts it in Matthew 10:16. Behold, I am sending you out as sheep among wolves. So be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. That's the perfect picture, sharp and gentle, tough and tender, protected but open. Discernment lets you love freely, but wisely. Forgive fully, but set strong boundaries. Be open-hearted, but anchored in truth. Here's the difference it makes. Without discernment, you trust too quickly. You let toxic people stay too long. You get sucked into emotional whirlwinds and only realize it when it's too late. With discernment, you pause before jumping in. You pick up on red flags early before things blow up. You maintain your peace, no matter how messy things get around you. Let's get real. Have you ever had that gut feeling where everything looked fine on the surface, but something inside whispered, "Be careful"? That quiet check in your spirit, that's discernment. And when you listen to it, you avoid so much unnecessary pain. But here's the flip side. If you ignore that voice, you usually end up learning the hard way. Regret, hurt, drama you never had to deal with. Discernment is what keeps you aligned with God's best, not just what's good on paper. And the beautiful thing, it's not something you have to muster up alone. James 1:5 tells us, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him." Discernment is a gift and it grows as you stay close to God. So how do you build it daily? Here's a simple practice. 1. Pause before reacting. Don't jump to conclusions. Ask for clarity. 2. Pray for wisdom. Make it a daily habit. Lord, sharpen my spiritual vision today. 3. Pay attention to patterns. Discernment often comes through noticing small clues repeated over time. And most of all, trust that inner check because it's there to guard your peace. At the end of the day, discernment clears your vision, shields your heart, and keeps your soul safe and steady no matter how messy life gets. Discernment, the daily practice that transforms everything. We've unpacked a lot today. The real meaning of discernment, how to check your heart, and how to let truth and grace work hand in hand. But here's what I want you to hold on to. Judging cuts people down. Discernment builds them up and protects your own peace in the process. This is a journey, not a one-time fix. It's something we practice, refine, and grow in every single day. So pause for a second and ask yourself, where in your life is God inviting you to stop pointing fingers and start sharpening your discernment with a pure heart? What relationships, what conversations, what quiet places in your own soul need this shift the most? And remember, the more you walk in discernment, the clearer your path becomes, and the more peace you carry into every room you step into. This is just the beginning. If today's message sparked something in you, go ahead and hit like, share it with someone who's ready to grow deeper, and drop a comment with your biggest takeaway. And when you're ready to keep building that deep inner strength and peace, check out the next video because we're just getting started.